I'm June.
And I'm Pris.
We're your hosts for the FIMSO MedPod.
And welcome back to the next episode. Yay!
Welcome to the next episode. And also happy spooky season.
Yay!
Happy Halloween. So
that's why the ears.
Yes, we have these ears. Okay. So in Shanghai, have you had like any Halloween experience? Like, do you know any activities? Like what's going on?
Wait, did we celebrate Halloween last year?
Did we? No, we had the FIMSO Enchanted Visit.
Oh yeah, we did Enchanted Visit for
Yeah.
Halloween. So basically, the philanthropy committee had this event called Enchanted Visit, and then we collected donations from everyone. We collected donations from everyone, and we collected all these donations and brought it to the children's hospital, and we gave it to children who needed heart surgery, and they came from like villages, like provinces far away, so they don't have money to afford like a lot of like the clothes, like basic necessities. So we kind of provided all this for them. And then we like dressed up. We had Mickey Mouse, we had Maleficent, we had an angel, and then we had the dinosaur.
And we also had like the pirate.
Oh yeah. And then so yeah, we went there and we did face painting for the kids, and they were really excited, and we gave them all the donations.
And then we also have like a video on our Instagram, so insert video here.
What video?
The Enchanted Visit video!
Alright, check this video.
Yeah, check this video out. But yeah, the video was really, really well made. And like, yeah, that whole thing was like cool, and like everyone loved it. The teachers loved it. It was cool, and because it was, everyone was dressed up, so like we got like a lot of attention from everywhere.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah. We had like a little booth in school for like a week, and we were all dressed up and trying to get people to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got like a lot of donations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And one thing about Shanghai is that they decorate a lot of the restaurants and like cafes, like the streets, with a lot of Halloween-esque type of decoration. So you see pumpkins, you see like cute vehicles. Because the other day I went to Ulumuqi, Lu and Huashan Lu. It was very, very nice. And they had like bears hanging out of the buildings type. Yeah, it was like pretty cool, pretty cute.
I know there's also like a street where people go trick-or-treating. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard like for kids or something.
Oh.
I'm not sure which street though.
I think it's really cool. Like people dress up a lot, but people do dress up a lot in general in Shanghai. Like
there's a lot of like cosplay. Like you see a lot on the metro.
Yeah, it's just like a random Monday. And
Yeah.
you sit there.
Especially in Meiluocheng.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
But yeah, that was that. So like basically every day is like Halloween. I don't know. With the cosplayers, I guess.
Yeah.
So do you have like any Halloween events that you used to go to? Like maybe not in Shanghai, like elsewhere.
Like in Singapore, I think sometimes me and my friends, we would go trick-or-treating at like this like rich people street, and then that's where they usually have trick-or-treating, and yeah, we would dress up and go there.
Nice.
How about you?
Same. Like I went to my friend's place. Then they always have like Halloween theme night, like the 小区 they will organize, and then we just go there together, and then trick or treat. Yeah, that's about it. And nothing special.
Yeah.
I mean, you just get candy.
I feel like it's not that big in Asia. Yeah, probably.
But it's just like fun to dress up with your friends, and then that's about it. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah. Then let's go to the main topic. So the main topic for today is why did we choose Shanghai? Why did we choose Fudan? Yeah. And like what are the pros and cons compared to other places, maybe our home country? So what about you? Like why do you choose?
So I applied to Australia and Singapore, and so for Australia it's really hard to get in. You need to get like the highest score in your high school exam in order to be even considered first. And then I think because in Australia they don't have a lot of undergraduate programs, they have more postgraduate programs. So for the undergraduate programs, it's very difficult to get in, and you have to do the UCAT exam or MCAT exam, and that exam is really, really hard. Honestly, yeah, I did it, and I think I did really badly. I forgot, but yeah, the exam is really hard, and it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really prove anything because it's kind of like there's this section where it's just like sequence. Like you have to follow the pattern and see what's the next sequence, and I'm horrible at those kind of games. So yeah.
Oh, it's like games?
It's not a game, but it's like, you know, they have those kind of math games where like you will have to like figure out the pattern and then say what's the next in the sequence, that kind of thing. Or they give you numbers and you say what's the next in the sequence. I'm really bad at those kind of like math problems. So yeah, I did really badly. But then there's also another section where it's like ethical, like, oh, like what would you do in this situation? That is easier for me. But like those kind of like math sequence, I'm just horrible at those. But yeah, so you have to do that, and I did horribly. So I think for UNSW, you have to do well for that to even be considered for applying for the undergraduate program. But for UCID, you don't actually need the MCAT exam, the UCAT exam, but you need to get like the highest score in the high school exam, like leaving exam. And I did not get the highest score. That's like kind of really, really hard. So yeah, I didn't get in. But then I got into the UNSW Med Science program. So the Med Science program is for 4 years, and it's kind of like a pre-med program. And then it's for 4 years, and you can afterwards you have to do the GAMSAT exam, which is the exam you need to do really well in order to get into postgraduate medicine in Australia. And yeah. But yeah, so I got a scholarship to the med science program. But the thing is that because it's 4 years, and then you don't know if you actually do well or pass the GAMSAT exam. And if you don't do well, then like you can't do postgraduate medicine. I think that's also the main reason why I chose Fudan, because it's a full-on 6-year undergraduate MBBS program. And once you graduate, you can just apply for the licensing exam and then just work immediately. You don't have to like do a middle exam in order to see if you can get into postgraduate medicine. Yeah. So that was like that was the main reason why I didn't choose Australia. And yeah. Also financially, Fudan's MBBS program is a lot like cheaper compared to overseas medical school. For Singapore, I only applied to NUS, and okay, back to Australia, sorry. Actually, there is a lot of other schools you can apply in Australia. I just didn't think of that. There's actually like, was it like Adelaide and like Monash or something? Melbourne? Yeah. But there's actually a lot of other schools that I could have applied to. I just didn't think of it at the time. And also, I also heard that apparently I could have applied to Cambridge and I would have gotten in with my score.
Really?
Yeah, because my score was pretty high. It just wasn't the highest score. So actually, like, I could have gotten into like Cambridge, but I didn't apply. So yeah, honestly, like, look at all your options. Go like research all the different schools like everywhere. And like, if you're not worried about being in a new country, foreign place, like yeah, totally do the research and see what are the options that you can get. Yeah. So I also applied to Singapore because I grew up in Singapore. But I passed the first round, but I didn't pass the interview round. Most people don't pass the interview round because it's really hard. And the interview round was also kind of like hard because the second section of it was like did you also apply to NUS?
Yeah, I applied to NUS, but I didn't make it past the first round. So I don't know what happens after.
Okay. Yeah, so like the interview round, the second section was the ethical part. So they give you a scenario and then you have to say like what you would do or how you would respond. And like I was like, it was so like, the thing is that it's not a very obvious ethical question, that kind of thing.
Is it like the boat and...
No, it's like it was very like mundane as well. It was like if you work at the library, or you are an assistant at the library, and then like your friend borrowed a book but she didn't return it, but then would you like 告状她, like would you like report her immediately, or would you like what would you do? Would you like, you know, that kind of thing? And then I was like, oh. It's like that kind of thing, like friendship.
Are you a tattletale?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I forgot what I said. I think I tell her, but honestly I was like so confused. I was like, I think I tell her to return it, and then the teacher was like, what if she doesn't return it? And I was like, then I'll report it. But okay, honestly, I'm kind of glad I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, because the thing is like another one of my friends told me is that if you get in on the first try, right, then like it might not actually prove anything, because at that age we're only like, how old are we? 18. We're 18. Honestly, we don't know the world that well. We haven't actually formed a lot of our moral or ethical point of views, and there's just so much of like critical thinking, or like our just our maturity level, like the way we view the world and things and how we make decisions, we haven't really got to that point yet. We're only 18. I mean, our frontal lobes only fully develop when we're 21. So it's like honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't get in, because like there's so much more to learn, and I think I grew a lot when I came to Shanghai. Like I grew a lot, like especially in terms of like independency, like learning how to communicate and work with different people, because in our class it's an international class, so we're working with a lot of people from very different backgrounds from us and very different cultures. So you really learn to like interact with different types of people, and we have a lot of different types of people. Yeah. So, and then lastly, another reason why I chose China was mainly because my dad at that time also started working in China, like in Qingdao, and then they were like really like recommending like me studying in Shanghai, so that it's like also closer to them, and yeah, that's why I chose to come to Shanghai.
That's nice.
Yeah, also one more reason why I was interested in China and like Shanghai was because my Chinese was actually really bad before coming to Shanghai. Like I learned it in Singapore, but it wasn't very good. And I thought that it was really important to like really learn the Chinese language well, because like the Chinese population takes up so much of the world. And like you would definitely meet a Chinese patient, and to be able to communicate and interact with them is like very important. That's why I thought that would be a really good skill. And I was also interested in learning about TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, because it is a field you don't really get to dive into if you learn like Western medicine in other countries. And I think TCM is a really like, it's a really good source of integrative medicine, because there are studies and research that shows that it actually works, and from like my family, like there are some things that really work on them as well. So I do think it was a really interesting topic to learn and have the opportunity to learn in China. And one more thing was, I forgot. I had one more thing. Oh yeah. I just thought that China would be a really, Shanghai especially would be a really great place to really grow and just immerse in the culture and like kind of put yourself out there. Because I was a very shy and very shy kid in high school. Like I didn't want to participate in anything because I was too scared to like step out of my comfort zone. So I thought Shanghai would be a good place to really force me out of my comfort zone, to challenge myself and grow. And I think I did like really well. So I don't regret coming here at all. It was a really great experience.
Yeah, personal growth, character growth. We love to see it.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, if you were to meet Pris IRL, you wouldn't think that she's an introvert.
Yeah.
She's like so loud. She's like extrovert. She would talk to you, everything, and then like you wouldn't think she's an introvert, but she actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, very nice. And then for me, in terms of like why I chose Shanghai, because like and we talked about like NUS, I didn't make it, and then in Malaysia I actually did make it, and then I did like half a year inside. I did like half a year before I transferred.
University of Malaya?
No, I didn't do that one, because the thing with University Malaya is like you have to go in through like the how do you say, like the government type of A levels. So we call that like Form 6, like STPM, or like the matriculation. So I didn't want to do that because it sort of limits your choice, because you can only further in Malaysia, and I didn't want to do that. So I knew what I was doing. Like I knew that I wasn't gonna really go there, but and then I did A levels. So I did A levels, which like you can go basically anywhere, and then there's also like a path in where you could basically use A levels to go into but then the price is the same as paying like for like private uni. So then I was like thinking, then might as well I'll just go to private uni, because like the price is the same, and the facilities I think may like lack a bit because it's a bit old. So I'd rather go to a private one. So I went to a private one, and then I did it for like half a year, and then my mom and like we have like a close family friend that's actually like living in Shanghai, and they were like, you know what? You should try Fudan. They're like, it's like Shanghai's best medical school, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And they're like, you can see that the QS World ranking is like higher than like whatever Malaysia has to offer. I was like, okay, fine. If you go through statistics, it's like statistically it's there. So I was just like, okay, then I'll just try, and then I got it, and then that's that. That's nothing much, honestly.
Did you apply to other schools?
I did apply, like in China, I did apply to a few schools like Zhejiang and like Wuhan, and then like I mean Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yeah, so Shanghai is Shanghai.
Yeah.
So like, why not, right? And like the initial plan was to go to Shanghai anyways, because like my dad also goes to Shanghai quite a lot. Like yeah, so he was like, oh, if you go to Shanghai, then you know he'll just see me a lot also. And like my grandpa also comes to Shanghai a lot back then. So that's why it was like, oh, Shanghai's really close and everything. So it's just like, it's just feasible at that point. And yeah. And like UK, I also tried applying to UK, but I gave up halfway because like there's a lot of things to do, a lot of paperwork.
I hate paperwork.
And yeah, and then financially, it was also like, do I really want to risk it? Yeah. So that's why I didn't. Like I applied halfway and then I stopped. So that's that. And like, Fudan isn't that bad. I think like what Pris said, it was really good. Like in terms of growth and everything. And in terms of Chinese, my Chinese is bad, by the way.
What?
Really, like you can ask like my high school friends, they're like, oh, like you are in like the friend group, I have the worst Chinese. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, why are you in Shanghai? They're like, out of everyone in the friend group, they're like, you do not speak like good Chinese at all, and then you're the one studying in China. I'm like, yeah. But like yeah, so I think my Chinese like improved like a lot, tremendously. Yeah, it's just like a lot of words that I don't normally say in Chinese, I do now, and it's just it's a really nice place to grow up, honestly. And you wouldn't be like, oh, it's like China. It's like very Chinese. Like it was more like a majority of that, but then you get like so many international people coming around you. It's like
especially in Shanghai. Yeah, Shanghai is the international hub of like China.
Exactly. So if you were to do it in like Singapore or Malaysia, like we're pretty close. We're like the same people, so you wouldn't see like what the world has to offer in that sense. So like, coming to Shanghai, instead of seeing like just Chinese people, you see like so many other people from so many different ethnics and everything, race. So it's like a really nice place to grow and learn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like in terms of growth, you would definitely grow a lot more in Shanghai than in like your own home countries, like than in Singapore or like in Malaysia. Because the thing is that if you're in Singapore or like in Australia and Malaysia, you have a path set for you. There is a direct path that you have to follow down. I mean, it's pretty comforting and relieving because it's stable. Like you know you'll get through this path as long as you go down this right road. But like when you're in Shanghai, you don't know where your future lies. You literally can go anywhere. Like you can go to like whatever country that you do the licensing exam in, and it is quite daunting at the start, and you have a lot of mentee bees.
Yeah.
And like yeah. And it is stressful. But the thing is that once you cross that hurdle, like it's really the options are limitless. Like you really experience so much. You're pushing yourself out there, and it's like your worldview opens up so much. Like it's less scary once you're out here. Like
just opens your eye to a lot of things.
Yeah, like I also realized how kind of close-minded I was when I was in Singapore or like in Australia. Like because like you really don't experience that much if you're only living in your one country for your whole life. Like you're kind of stuck in that bubble. You don't see how much the world has to offer once you actually go out there. Yeah.
I agree with that. Because like you'll be seeing the same people as well, like the same circle. It's just like there's not much spice. There's no place for you to grow.
Yeah.
Like you can only grow like maybe vertically. Maybe you can grow like so many other directions if like you're in China. Like just overseas, I guess. It kind of opens your door to a lot of opportunities as well.
Yeah. And also like being in a foreign country, gives you the chance to start over, to like, because when you're in your own home country, you're surrounded by the same people all the time. It's hard to grow because they already perceive you to be in a certain way in that certain space. Like they have expectations of you, and if you divert from those expectations, they'll be like, oh, who are you, that kind of thing. So it's, you have a very limited space to really grow and explore yourself. But when you're in a foreign country, you have just so much space, nobody knows you, you can be whoever you want to be, you really get the chance to explore who you really are.
Yeah, that's very nice. And then talking about like different schools, applying to different schools, so like how do you think it would differ if you were to study in Singapore, or do you know anyone that studied in Singapore, and like comparing their experience and your experience, like yeah, what are the pros and cons sort of like studying in China, and like what are the differences do you think there is?
I know people who do medicine in Singapore, but I don't really know the people who are like studying medicine right now, but I know people who have studied like medicine in Singapore. And I think for Singapore has a very stability mindset. So like people just want stability. They want their own family, they want a good job, stable job, and like their safe zone, that kind of thing. So like studying med school in Singapore does offer that. So you have that stability, knowing that you will get a job, you will get like, you know, where you want to be. Yeah, but I think the downside is that, like I said before, it's so stable, you don't get to grow as much as you can or explore the options as much as you can. And yeah, I'm not very sure about the Singapore like the medical education system, but it is pretty, I feel like the medical education system is pretty similar everywhere, like anywhere you go. Like, I mean, there are some that maybe the quality is better, or like there are some that is, but the thing is that at the end of the day, medicine is medicine. The things that you need to study, the things you need to know are all the same. And like self-study is definitely necessary for any med school you go to. So that's why I don't know how to like compare the medical education system, because I feel like you're gonna be stressed either ways. It's just the med school system. But for like for Singapore, it's very stable. That's a good thing. But on the other side, like you may not be able to experience or grow as much. Another thing about Singapore, I feel, is that, but this may be a very personal opinion because I'm not very maybe sure about the system that well. But the thing about Singapore is that it's very small. Singapore is very, very small. It's a dot on the map, okay? Like, yeah, so the amount of cases or things you see, the amount of people, the interactions, it's a lot more limited compared to, like, China with, like, it's such a big country. And the amount of cases that you get to experience and see and really be involved in is so vast. Like, we did this summer internship program rotation in the gynecology ward, and we learned so much in like 2 days. Like we learned so much.
We just bombarded with like information.
And we saw so many different cases that I don't think you can actually see in Singapore. And these cases are things you see at a daily basis, that kind of thing here. And the thing about China that I feel like is different from other countries is that as an intern, you actually get hands-on experience. You get a lot more hands-on experience than you get in other countries, which is good.
I think it's a big win. Like,
it's really good. As a medical student, who wants to learn and really experience and grow, like it is really like a good experience to have these hands-on experience here. That's one thing that I think really differs in China compared to other countries.
I think in terms of like syllabus, so I know for a fact because my cousin studied in like NUS, so I know for a fact that the way they study is about the same. It's like 5 years and then 2 years pre-clinical and 2 years like clinical. So it's the same, just that we have like the additional internship year, and then for them it's like they're pre-clinical. Instead of going by subjects, like we do anatomy first and then like histology, blah blah blah, they go by systems. They go by body systems. So like with the body systems, you'll learn like anatomy, pathophysio, physio, pharmacology. You learn everything together. So in that sense, it's like maybe it would be easier to link everything together, like by disease. But for us, we learn like just anatomy, like plain anatomy, and like plain pathology, physiology. So we have to link it after that ourselves. But I think this is more like the US way. Like because I know UK goes through the systems as well, but regardless, the books are still the same, and like just that the way they are taught is just slightly different. And then in terms of like what you said about hands-on experience, I think that's why China is like really good, like in terms of the pros, because they offer a lot of hands-on experience in terms of labs and like just internship in general. As like a med school student, you get like so much more experience. Like you will learn so many different cases like you wouldn't see elsewhere. I think for the practical yesterday that she skipped. But yeah, for the practical yesterday we learned about vulva infection, so vulvalitis I think, and there's this one, it's called vulva lichen simplex VSLS, I think. I don't remember the full name. I need to go back. But yeah, it's VSLS. So in this one, I think you rarely see these cases elsewhere, and then they also rarely see them, but like they have like recently they had like a few of them. Then they're like, oh, this is a rare case, but you will see it in China, like maybe once every 4 years or something like that. So it's like, wow, it's like a really rare case, and you'll see it there. And then because even for the teacher that taught us yesterday, she was like, oh, this is my first time seeing this one. Like they had like this 4 years ago, and like it was someone else's case, but you wouldn't see it anyways. So it's like really rare. You wouldn't see like a lot of these cases elsewhere. It's like because China is like so big, and like you have maybe like say further south is more like a tropical country ish. Okay, and then you go further north, it's like really, really cold. Then there's like different pathogens up there, and then different pathogens elsewhere. Like they're close to the mountains, they're close to the seas. Like there's so many types of pathogens that you would get, and then so many types of diseases, different types of diseases, different types of cases, and you would get in like China. In just one country, you can get so many different cases as compared to like Singapore and like Malaysia. It's just there. So you don't move, and like it's so limited. Like the cases are so limited because even from my uncle, he works in Singapore, and he was like, oh, because I talked to him about like whether if I should further in like Singapore, and he was like, honestly, if you're young and you have like so much potential, just don't go to Singapore. Like maybe you could go to Singapore when you're like retirement home.
Or like when you're a specialist already, and like you've really reached the amount of growth that you want to reach.
She says as like a stable job, like stability, like to maybe have like a family and everything. Like you could go back, but when you're still young and like exploring everything, you should like go out. Because he was recommending like don't go to Singapore or Malaysia when like you first graduate and everything, because the cases you'll see is the same, so it's very mundane. Your life is just very boring. Like when you're young, you would want to explore, you could see new things before you settle down and everything. So he was like, he would recommend to go out when you first graduate. So I was just like, yeah. And like China is a very good place too, because like when we talked about like there's so many different cases, so many different peoples. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think like the main difference between med schools would be the structure of how they teach it. Like I also wanted to apply to Hong Kong uni, and their structure is slightly different. I forgot how they structure the subjects, but I know in their third year they get to go on an elective experience. So like they can go to like anywhere or like learn anything they want in the third year. They can go to like rural places to like learn about like medical care there, or like so that was the interesting thing about Hong Kong uni that I saw.
I see. That's very nice. In terms of Malaysia, it's basically the same. And like third year, you would do like, I guess electives or like postings in just like different hospitals in a rural area maybe. But yet again, it's the same country, and then the cases that you will get is the same because the weather doesn't vary that much, so you wouldn't have like seasonal like pathogens as well. So it's just very boring. You get the same thing throughout the whole year. It's just very boring. There's no new cases. And just like medical structure, like the classes, I think it's about the same, honestly. It's just that because I did like half a year in like med school in Malaysia. So one thing that I realized is they do have labs, but because it's very limited actually. The amount of stuff that they have, the resources are very limited. Yeah, as compared to China. Because I think because of the population is really big, so they have like a lot more resources and a lot more just stuff. And like I think financially they're also better, like financially. So like they have a lot of fundings. Then so they have a lot of these facilities, a lot of resources that medical students can easily access. As compared to Malaysia, it's like quite limited. So maybe if we're doing like a like an experiment, we have to share within like 10 to 13 people. As compared to like China, like depending on like the subject, I think maximum we had like in a group was like 6.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you can imagine 6 people doing like we had functional lab we did with 6 people. That was okay. And like but then imagine doing it with 13 people in a group. You can't really do anything.
Yeah, on just like one rabbit, and then like everybody's really crowding around the table.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the downsides. I feel it was just like it was too many students and like too little resources, too little facilities. Like you can't really tap into those. But in terms of theory, I think they teach better because it's in English and like because the teachers here are like Chinese. Like maybe they have an accent and everything. But I think if you really want to learn like hands-on, practicing hands-on, I think China's really good because theory in a way you can self-study. Like you can learn, you try to absorb as much as you can, and then like self-study, and then maybe go to Ninja Nerd, Khan Academy, blah blah blah. Everything's on the internet. You can do that. So like hands-on is really hard to get nowadays. So I think China offers like really really good hands-on experience.
Yeah, and the thing is that like even though sometimes some of the teachers like maybe their English isn't that great, but they're all very willing to teach. And so like a lot of us like after class we would go and ask the teachers like more questions if we need further clarification, and they're all really willing to like answer the questions. So yeah, like just make use of the resources that you have. And yeah, and I think the good thing about our MBBS batch also is because it's an international batch, so the numbers are limited. Our class is very, very small. We only have 30 people. Some classes have like 21. So so the MBBS curriculum in like Fudan is just, it's nice because like the class is so small. So you actually get like more time, more like of the resources to yourself, and like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But also like and everybody knows everyone in our international medical student organization. Yeah.
Also one thing that I realized like China and like other parts like other schools is like they really try to interest you, pull you into research. Yeah. Which was like, oh, because in Malaysia you wouldn't really get it. Nobody really cares about it until like maybe you graduate or if you become a doctor or something. Like then only they will start like implementing like research on you. But like from in Fudan, from like maybe year 1, year 2, they're like, I have this research going on, stuff like that. They introduce you to their research, and then because I think they really heavily focus a lot on research. They really love research a lot. And we get a lot of experience into research. I think in year 1 we have electives and we had to learn how to write a thesis already. Yeah, and like how to cite things, how to do like write like essay like properly, like with all of these like doing statistical analysis and everything. I think it really opens your eye into like make if like with like a MBBS degree you can just it's like your path is not so limited with like just full on how do you say it like clinical practice. You can do like research and everything, so it really opens your eye into like research. Is like, oh, give you like a chance to think like, are you suitable for clinical, like the clinical side or like the research side.
Yeah, and like you just have to be proactive, and like if you're interested in a research topic, just approach the teacher or the department. Like those teachers that come to our class to teach, you can just approach them and ask for research opportunities. But you just need to be proactive about these things.
Yeah, because they really want like international students to join their research as well, maybe sometimes to learn and like just to teach, and then just to maybe like to get like different insights on things, like how like our country would do certain things, or like what type of drug our country currently interested in, like then maybe they'll get like an idea and then like sort of like stuff like that. And yeah, it's really cool to see like research. Will you ever think of like doing research?
I really don't like research. Yeah, I'm not a research girly. I can't. I'm too impatient for research. Like I don't like waiting for so long, not knowing whether it works or not. Yeah, I don't think I can go down that path.
Honestly, same. Yeah, that's why like if I really start like a fictional book, I have to finish it like within 2 days.
Yeah, else I'll never look back at it.
Same. I'm like, I can't. It's like,
I have commitment issues.
I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. But honestly, kudos to all the researchers out there. You guys are doing medicine a favor. Like honestly, we can't go
Yeah.
anywhere without you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't be me, honestly.
Yeah.
Not me. Yeah. It's just I don't know. I've heard of like my friend doing research, and then he was just like it takes up too much time and there's so much uncertainty, so he stopped halfway. Yeah. So he just like he can't like because it takes up too much time. Because you have to start like somewhere, and because even though if you want to do clinical, you have to start from like a basic clinical stuff first. So you have to start like with the mice growing the cells and everything. And if the cells die, you have to start all over again. Like you have to start from day one again.
My gosh.
So it's like a never-ending cycle. And then the percentage of you getting it right the first time is like so low and like basically impossible with the research. So it's like really tough. And then I just see my friend like dying. It's bad. Also, one thing that I realized is like China, they have like a lot of international medical forums also.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do have a lot.
They do.
And they invite like us to go, like maybe as like a volunteer or like just to go and like listen to get you, you know, a bit more insight, a bit more information, because sometimes a lot of these like forums are held in English or they invite like English speakers. So the other time I went to this HPV one, they had like a professor from a University of California, San Francisco, and then another one from Cambridge. Yeah, and it was really good. They talked about HPV and how it affects the anus, especially in men like population. So it's like really interesting. And then because our teacher was also really passionate about HPV, so she wanted a lot of students to go and like learn. So then we went, and it was a really good experience. And we managed to talk to like the professors, like the ones from UK and the US. It was like really really cool, and that was really nice. But I noticed that there's not a lot of these type of things, or rather in Malaysia. So I was just like, I was like thinking back, like if I were to continue in Malaysia and not come to Shanghai, I wouldn't get these like opportunities. I wouldn't know these people, like what are the research that are really currently going on. Yeah, I don't think it would spark my interest in like obstetrics and gynecology that much if it wasn't for all of these opportunities that I can get. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like this might be biased, but honestly, our teachers are so cool. Like just listening to some of our teachers, like really like the lectures or like in practicals, like they're just so cool. Like I have so much faith in them. Like their competency, like I feel like I could trust my life with them. It's just they're so like competent and like they really know what they're doing.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's like a big leap from like pre-clinical and clinical, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because like pre-clinical, the teachers are mainly doing research. And like clinical is when they do both research and like clinical side. So it's like you can see that they have like this aura, you know? There's this aura with them, like when they carry them, when they walk, you can tell. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Plus 100 aura.
Yes.
But yeah. So I think we can like conclude our like episode today. It was really fun talking about like pros and cons, comparing sort of things, and like happy spooky season.
Yay!
Happy Halloween. And then you know what happens after Halloween?
Christmas.
Yeah, you know who's
Christmas.
defrosting? Mariah Carey. Yes, we will see you the next episode.
Yes. Bye bye.
And then bye bye. Wow. Or no, also I heard in like Latin America or like Spanish people in general, they call Mariah Carey Maria Carey.
Really?
Is it true? No.